We are super excited to be sharing this with you today. This is our official Knights at the Game Table painting mat. Now, we've been developing this for the last few months as a new giveaway to anyone that becomes a member of Knights at the Game Table. Now, what I wanted to do is show you some of the really cool, unique properties of this mat by attacking it with Nuln oil. So first thing, we all know what happens. You've got your Nuln oil, you're painting some miniatures, and you knock it, and paint goes everywhere. The problem is, most people for a mat, they use a cutting board. I think I've got one around here somewhere. The green cutting board, do we have that anywhere still? Could you grab it for me? Thanks, man. Sorry, my buddy in the background is going to bring it to me. Most people just use a standard cutting board, like one of these. The problem with the cutting board is when you spill paint on it, it drips off the edge. And then once you do that, of course, it can drip onto your pants, or it could ruin your miniatures. It can do all sorts of stuff. What we've done is we wanted to think, how could we design a painting mat that would stop that from happening? Now, full disclaimer, there is another painting mat like this out on the market that's similar but not the same, which is the Games Workshop one, which I love. It was one of my favorites, but I had some issues with it. One, it had this weird pattern, almost like a triangle in the corner, that meant that there was, like, for example, you couldn't fit the Citadel paint pot on it. It wouldn't fit because of the stand, which meant you kind of had to put it here, but also there's this raised indentation on the Games Workshop one, which meant it would sit at a funny angle. So I just wasn't a super fan of it, but I preferred it to anything else. And so what we did is we designed it from the ground up. We took the concept that Games Workshop had and thought, what would make a better painting mat? So we have a completely smooth surface. This design is cut into it versus raised. We added this really cool groove around it, which is designed in a way that when wash hits it, it bleeds out. And better yet, and I'll show you this, if you pour it into a corner, it tends to go backwards rather than pour over the edge. And I'll show you that. I'll do a demonstration of that. And one of the best things about it is this type of rubber, when you pour in it, water doesn't pool, it turns into a drip, it stays together. And that means you can actually get a dropper, which is something I don't have here, unfortunately. And you can use a dropper, and you can pick up the paint, and you can put it back and use it again. So here I've got some Nuln oil, and I'm now going to spill it on this painting mat here. And you can see what I'm saying, it just pools. It stays together, and it's crazy how it does that. And the best part about that is I've got some paper towels here. I'm going to show you how easy it is to clean up, because I've got a design on it, obviously. But watch this. I can use these paper towels, if I want to do it this way, and I can wipe it off. And you can see that it just allows me to pick up the whole mess. And that's it, done. I've cleaned up the whole thing. And if I had a dropper with me, which I don't have, I'd be able to pick that up off my... Oh, I do have a dropper, I suppose. That's going to contaminate my ink. If I had a black ink, I would demonstrate it. But it just lets me clean it up. And you can see, it barely stains the... in fact, it doesn't really stain the mat at all, unless you leave it to dry. If you get it quick enough, you just pick it up and get rid of it. And yeah, it's amazing. We're so happy about it. So I want to show you some of the other cool things that I was just talking about here, which is what happens if I take this wash and pour it into the corner. So what I'm going to do right here is, just pour this down, and as I pour it into the corner, you see here, it pulls away from the corner. And there you go, like, it's just starting to come over the edge there, but still, the weight pulls it back, which gives you a lot of protection, when you're working. And you can see, again, it's kept in that pool, which makes it possible for me to suck it up with a dropper. I'm going to try and do it. I'm going to hope not to contaminate my green too badly. All right, let's see what I can do here. I want to show you how cool this thing is. So I'm gonna suck up some water into my pipette here. So you can see here, this is just a simple dropper. But if I wanted to collect, this Nuln oil, I could. And so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take this, pre-squeeze it, and then you can see that I can pick it back up. And if I had a big enough one, I could collect all my Nuln oil to use again later. And so that, I think, is one of the coolest things about this mat. Again, obviously this isn't the right tool for it, but you guys can see the concept. I can get back my Nuln oil. So this is something we are super excited about. Now, this painting mat, we're giving it away to anyone who becomes an annual member of Knights at the Game Table. Now, we don't use Patreon, but it's kind of like Patreon. When you support Knights at the Game Table, it's $97 for a whole year. You get a ton of stuff. First things first, you obviously get the painting mat, but on top of that, you get $600 of painting tutorials from Golden Demon winner Matt DiPietro. Matt DiPietro is the guy that taught me how to speed paint. He's won a number of tournaments like the Crystal Brush and a whole bunch of other things like that. And he really is an incredible painter. And we got $600 worth of lessons in how to speed paint an army and have it looking pro. And you get that when you sign up. So you get $600 worth of lessons as soon as you sign up for $97. But you get more than that, because we got Nick Nanavati to teach you how to become a pro tournament player, and you get that as well as part of the training. So that's like $300 worth of training as well. So all of that is $900 before we even get started, between the mat, the tutorials for painting, and the tutorials for playing. You also get a bunch of battle reports that haven't been released anywhere else, including we have a brand new TV show on Amazon called Battle Report, but every episode of the Amazon TV show is already live at the Knights of the Game Table membership. So you can watch the entire season right now, and you get all of that included in that same price. And that's literally available right now. You can go there and get it. There's a link in the description. You can click on to learn more about this. And that's how we make the show. You know, the camera guy filming this right now, the editors, all the different people that we have, the blog writers that we pay to write articles for our blog, they all get paid from the members. You guys support our show. You truly are our Patreons. And even though we don't use Patreon, we couldn't do it without having you guys as our patrons. And so, you know, if you love the show, if you want to support us, if you want to help us create more episodes of Knights at the Game Table, then please, it's a very small donation. It's $97 a year. I know that is somewhat of a big amount, but if you think about how much we spend on miniatures, how much we spend on paints, how much we spend on all this stuff, but it helps us make the show, and more importantly, gets you one of these really cool painting mats and gives you all those painting tutorials and all the exclusive episodes and so much more. So please take a moment, click on the description, check it out and have a look. It's guaranteed. If you get the painting mat and it doesn't work the way you want, it's not what you want, or you get into the membership site and you're like, you know what, these battle reports sucked, I really don't like watching Eve on camera, or you don't want to watch it, that's fine. They're guaranteed. You can just let us know and we'll give you your money back. Ultimately, we don't want money from anybody that isn't enjoying it, who doesn't think that what we've done is good. But for those of you guys that love what we do, who continue to keep supporting us, then please consider becoming a Knights at the Game Table member, because that membership enables us to create the show, enables us to do cool things like develop this and get it out to you. And I would love to get you one of these painting mats. So I want to take a minute to say thank you so much for subscribing and for watching the show and making this a thing, and to ask you to take a moment to consider becoming a Knights at the Game Table member, getting the painting mat, getting the tutorials, and coming and chatting to us. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time only on Knights at the Game Table.